Tom Gilligan is too busy running around with faceless opportunists. This has been led by speculators, assisted by our Director of Services, Tom Gilligan. Our Director of Services is an agent for opportunists. These are just some of the comments directed at Mayo County Council's Director of Services, Tom Gilligan, at last week's County Council meeting. Gilligan's response to this criticism, which he obviously saw coming, was to hold up a photo of a dead Syrian boy who was washed up on a Turkish beach in 2015. His actions were nothing more than a twisted and pathetic attempt to manipulate and emotionally blackmail the councillors into accepting the situation in Mayo. Thankfully, the councillors didn't fall for it and they condemned the stunt. At that meeting, as well as in recent local newspaper articles, some of the councillors are displaying what might be described as far-right views. Some of these councillors have previously tried to shut down meetings and have refused to engage with us and with the public on issues relating to the enforced mass migration into Mayo. In last Monday's County Council meeting, however, there seemed to be somewhat of a shift. Peter Flynn, who in fairness is one of the few who's willing to discuss this issue, brought forward the following motion. Firstly, that the Chief Executive undertake a report to evaluate the impact on County Mayo's ability to support employment, encourage enterprise, deliver critical services and maximise investment in the county. And secondly, that the Chief Executive set out how he's proposing to deliver Mayo County Council's housing programme, and most particularly the delivery of affordable housing. Councillor Flynn emphasised that there needed to be a cut-off point to numbers coming into the county. He said that tourism was suffering and that accommodation costs were going up as a result. He also mentioned safety concerns of young migrant children playing on roads and car parks and retail parks, stating that it would never be allowed to happen if it was a private development. His motion was widely supported by councillors in attendance. Now, this follows on from more far-right rhetoric spewed by councillors recently in regards to the proposed housing of migrants in a retail park in Ballina. It's crazy to allow people into the country without passports. Michael Loftus and John O'Hara. There needs to be open communication, not working on cover of darkness. Jarlath Munley. It is frightening. We don't know who's coming. Almost 200 men. That's not nice in my mind. It's like a jail. We need to know who they are and their background. John O'Hara. We're told that they're coming from a war-torn country and that we have to accept that. But it's going to have to stop. This is not going to happen. This has been forced on us. Michael Loftus. Where's the money coming from? Who are they? Why are they leaving their countries? There is war everywhere. We should get more information. Seamus Weir. Have you discussed this with the local medical centres and doctors about looking after children when they can't even take care of their own patients at the moment? You are our director of this town. You should be working with us and cooperating with the town instead of having people ringing us and crying on the phone, women and elderly men. Annie May Reap. Just to show how things are changing, here's a reminder of how some councillors have engaged with us in the recent past on this issue. Why aren't you willing or able to deal with these, or at least talk to the people? Yeah.
It's not my job.
Why would you not be willing to discuss that issue?
I have no interest in discussing it. You?
Why is that though?
That's my business.
Sorry, will any councillors talk to us for a second? We're having difficulty talking to councillors. Will any talk to us for a second?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Are you promoting people to hate each other?
What are you talking about? Are you accusing me of that?
I know, I just asked.
And some of them even actively campaigned to have a special meeting on this issue cancelled. Mayo Fianna Fáil councillor demands cancellation of controversial meeting. Jerry Murray, Sinn Féin, again against it, saying that I think it is the right thing to do because it should not be given any credence whatsoever. Cyril Burke as well says he will be boycotting the meeting if it proceeds. Fine Gael requests cancellation of Mayo meeting on migrant accommodation. This was by the leader of the Fine Gael councillors, his name Councillor Burke. Mayo Fianna Fáil whip withdraws support from controversial meeting. Public pressure is building and the tide is turning on Tom Gilligan. Remember what he said when we confronted him at last month's meeting? You're aware that a lot of money has been made by big business around the county and around the country, yeah?
We are providing a duty of care and a humanitarian response.
Does anybody believe Tom Gilligan? This is not a humanitarian effort. This is a new, highly profitable human trafficking industry that's been pushed by the EU, the UN and the WEF. And Tom Gilligan, working directly under Minister Roderick O'Gorman, is the main man responsible for selling off Mayo and betraying our people. This problem isn't going away unless we do something about it. In fact, it's going to get much worse. Currently, Mayo is housing 900 international protection applicants and 3,824 beneficiaries of temporary protection. That's a total of 4,724, which is 3.4% of our population in Mayo. Minister Simon Coveney has said in the past that they want to increase Ireland's population by 1 million people by 2040.
Over the next 20 years, the population of Ireland will certainly grow by an extra million people.
What percentage of those 1 million people do you think will be young, healthy, economic migrant men? If there is any hope of us stopping what's going on in this country, we need to start speaking out now. Take every opportunity you can to voice your concerns. Because if you don't, your children will live to regret it.